The American Civil War, 1861 to 1865, was a deeply divisive conflict, not only for states and families but also for Native American nations. Among them, the Cherokee Nation faced one of the most complex and painful internal struggles. Torn by geography, politics, and promises from both the Union and the Confederacy, the Cherokee were divided and ultimately fought on both sides of the war. A nation divided. Before the Civil War, the Cherokee Nation had already endured decades of upheaval, most notably the forced relocation known as the Trail of Tears in the 1830s, when thousands of Cherokee were removed from their ancestral lands in the southeast to what is now Oklahoma. The trauma of this event left deep scars, but also a strong desire to preserve sovereignty and survival. When war broke out, the Cherokee Nation found itself in a difficult position. The Western Cherokee, primarily those in Indian Territory, modern-day Oklahoma, initially allied with the Confederacy. This was due in part to Confederate promises of honoring Cherokee sovereignty and establishing a Native American state if the South won. Additionally, some Cherokee leaders, particularly Principal Chief John Ross, believed siding with the South was necessary for political survival, especially as Union troops had largely withdrawn from Indian Territory early in the war. However, the decision to side with the Confederacy was not unanimous. A significant faction led by Stand Watie, a wealthy Cherokee who had supported removal and owned slaves, strongly supported the Confederate cause. Others, especially full-blood Cherokee and those opposed to slavery, supported the Union. The result was a civil war within the Cherokee Nation itself. Cherokee on the battlefield. Stand Watie became a brigadier general in the Confederate Army, the only Native American to achieve that rank. He led the 1st Cherokee Mounted Rifles and was involved in several significant battles, including the Battle of Pea Ridge and guerrilla warfare campaigns throughout the Indian Territory. Watie's forces were fierce and effective, particularly in raids and supply line disruptions. On the Union side, Cherokee Loyalists formed their own regiments, such as the Indian Home Guard. These forces, composed largely of Cherokee, Creek, and other Native American volunteers, fought to reclaim their homeland and resist Confederate-aligned tribal governments. The internal division led to violence within the nation itself. Families and communities were torn apart. Retaliatory attacks, assassinations, and skirmishes were common, and the war left deep scars on the Cherokee people. Aftermath and legacy. When the Civil War ended in 1865, the Cherokee Nation, like much of the South, faced reconstruction. The U.S. government forced new treaties on Native nations that had sided with the Confederacy. For the Cherokee, this meant the loss of more land and the requirement to free their slaves and offer them tribal citizenship, an issue that would spark generations of legal and political disputes. Despite the hardships, the Cherokee Nation survived. The Civil War remains a complex chapter in their history, marked by internal conflict but also by resilience and adaptation in the face of a war that threatened their very existence. The Cherokee experience in the Civil War is a powerful reminder that the struggle was not only between North and South, but also within communities and nations that had long histories predating the United States itself.